Prepare to be captivated by the business story of the week, hosted by me, Shaheen Shan. Join us on a journey through the twists and turns of entrepreneurial triumphs and setbacks. Immerse yourself in the narrative and witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. This is Business Story of the Week.
Welcome once again here, the business story of the week, where we bring you the most inspirational, the brightest, the most motivating, brightest minds in the world, not just in business, corporate executives and motivations and all that. Today, we do have quite a resilient and a transformative guest with you today, and she's going to tell her story and her journey with us. Louise Ashby, her journey is really a powerful testament, right, when it comes to transformation. um it's all started with a severe car accident in 1992 that required extensive reconstructive surgeries. Instead, what Louise did, she channeled that experience into a force for positive change. She then went on to author The Magic of the Mask, a memoir detailing her path through adversity, which, garnered a lot of international attention. Through her charity, also, Facing Forward, Louise extends her impact by supporting reconstructive surgeries for children with facial deformities. I mean, how can you get more noble than that, right? Now, as a life architect, motivational speaker, and mindset mentor, Louise inspires others to overcome life's hurdles. Her approach, grounded in possibility, the law of attraction, visualization techniques, um, it all guides individuals in realizing their potential and achieving their desired outcomes despite a massive setback. Today, Louise is going to be sharing that story to us, and she's going to be really, sharing us what it took and teaching us what it takes to be someone like her, a transformative, transformative individual. Because these are something that our audience like, Louise. They want to hear stories about setbacks because it's very relatable, and everyone wants to overcome these setbacks. Louise, how are you doing? How's your day? And thank you for joining us.
I'm doing great. That was a very generous opening. I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. It's a little cold here. I think it's like 9 degrees, which
Oh,
I'm not a
wow.
great fan of, but there we go. Yeah, I'm happy to be here having a great day. Happy New
Well,
Year
and a
still.
happy new year to you as well, to everyone here. We haven't passed the first month. We're still technically new year, right? So
That's
and it is cold over there, but you seem very warm, and we're happy to have you here. Louise, I would like to get right into it. And it all starts with journey, of course, right? How your journey started and how you got from that major accident and onto your recovery and onto your transformation. So this journey of following your accident is incredibly inspiring. I must say. Can you share to us this experience? How this experience shaped your approach to mindset and where you are right now when it comes to coaching this transformative
absolutely.
development? Go ahead.
Absolutely. I think the most important thing that I learned was that I was not the stories that I was told I was growing up.
Right.
Growing up was incredibly insecure. I felt like I should be seen and not heard, but I always had this dream of being a performer, being an actor.
Uh-huh.
There were a lot of challenges in my formative years, and then
Uh-huh.
it was right after I'd lost my mother from
Oh.
cancer that I moved to LA to pursue my acting dream.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's really not a story about a car accident, as it were, as much as what, a lot of people say, what happened to me? And I would like to rephrase that as what happened for me.
Okay.
Because like I said, I was always this insecure, didn't feel like I belonged. Moved to LA, everything's going great, get a car. I've been there for 6 weeks, and then I'm involved in a really horrific car accident,
Oh my.
which I actually dreamt about the night before it happened. But then I woke up in the intensive care unit like a week after it happened. I've been in a coma. I had no idea. Long story short, I was basically in an accident which lost the left side of my head.
Oh
So,
my
and
goodness.
the front left lobe of my brain,
Oh,
vision in my left eye, like it was a big old mess.
oh my
So
goodness.
had so it's one of those things that, what is it in your life that is going to come to a point where you say, okay, I want to look at this so I can move forward. What can I
Right.
actually take from this experience to fuel me going forward?
Right.
So, you know, I was suddenly asked to leave public places because of my appearance, like just a lot of weird things that I never expected would happen in my life. Like you never expect to wake up in hospital and then finally look in a mirror at some point and not know who it is looking back at you. That's one thing. And when I looked in the mirror and saw that, it was everything as I knew it was gone. You know, my face, my dreams, like who am I? You know,
Right.
who am I? You know, and it's that big realization of you are not your appearance. You are not this body. You are
Right.
not your bank account. You are here to experience who you really are, what you've come here to do. What are your gifts? And so I was told by doctors at the time that I might as well just forget, you know, acting again, and that my face would never look the same, and it was too severe, and we don't know what we
Oh
can do.
no.
And out of somewhere came this, no, you'll do it. You'll fix me. I'll find someone who will. And I really, really believed. And I just had this knowingness that I would not stop until this had happened.
Oh wow.
And so for me, that's mindset. And when you have the right mindset, you manifest things in ways that you never really understood were possible. So I would say that this experience showed me just how powerful we are, and the law of attraction, and how to manifest. And it was through visualization. I used to sit and visualize myself as, you know, looking the way I wanted to look, and achieving the things I wanted to achieve. And anyway, you know, it was the most incredible journey. I discovered what true love is. And that for me came in the form of my friends and my family. It was their love that got me through. I think
Oh
love can
my.
conquer all. And so that was really important, and not wallowing. Like, okay, so this has happened. So now what? Now nothing can make you more present than realizing that everything can change in a split second.
Absolutely.
So it's like, oh, I have no choice but to be present right now, because I don't know anything else. I have to come to the understanding that I know nothing. And so by starting and taking the baby steps and doing the next right thing, what happened was, you know, I kept going in the direction of having surgeries. It took 12 years and 28 reconstructive surgeries and 200 metal bolts and plates. But the point is, it's not about that so much as the willpower that we all have within us, the magic, how we are so capable of changing everything in our life if we really believe and see it, and clear the channel so that you can achieve it. And that was something that I learned by going through this. So if I found that I was feeling depressed, let's say, or a lot of people were throwing their negativity, saying things like, I don't think you're being realistic. And I'm like, well, what's reality? What's realism? Like
That is
maybe I'm being realistic and you're not being realistic.
exactly.
So I just would give myself 10 minutes a day to feel
Okay.
down. If I felt like I was going down, be like, okay, well, I really don't have the time to afford to do that. So I'm going to give myself 10 minutes
Okay.
because it was from that suddenly I was shown that what we put out, we get back. So
Right.
I didn't want to wallow because I knew as
Right.
well that if I wallowed, this was so big of a challenge that I had to stay positive, because if I
Precisely.
wallowed, then forget it. I would have just shot down that dark hole and
Precisely.
spiraled. So
You
whatever you can do for yourself to be gentle, not to beat yourself up. You know, if you do feel down, that's okay. There's so many tools that you can use to help you get through that, like journaling, meditation, making sure you have a support group, someone you can trust. There's so many different tools. But what happened for me was then over the years, then when I did get socially acceptable, as was called, I did my first acting role again, and I was
wow.
so I was so insecure. I was so insecure,
Okay.
and the lead actor that was in the film made some comment like, was I in the death scene or something? And for me, it was like, no, that's my face.
Oh
And
my goodness.
but it was at that point, you know, we can take anything that somebody says to us in two ways. We have a choice. Okay,
Right.
am I going to take it personally, or am I going to take
Or
it and look at it and see what, you know, what that really means to me? Is it about me, or is it about them? Or,
yes,
you know,
precisely.
and so what I took it as was, you know, I don't want to pretend to be somebody else when I've
Pres-
got to this point of being really proud of who I am. And
Wow.
so then I wrote the book, and I no longer have the charity, but I can put people in touch with any doctor or anything
Fantastic.
that they need, because I think that's really vital to know that there are resources everywhere
Precisely.
for anything you're going through, for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And so then I started counseling and helping
Okay.
parents or individuals going through that through the charity. And then I realized, wow, this gives me so much more reward. This makes me
Right.
feel better
Right.
than anything else I've ever done, because I get to help people, and it
Yeah.
made my experience worth mean something to me. It was
Meaningful.
worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then it opened doors and
Go
opportunities that and a life that I had never dreamed was possible. So it's been really incredible.
Especially after that accident, especially after you went through how many surgeries, right? There's so much to unravel there. Um, First, I'd like to point out that I love how you say that you cannot wallow. You just cannot. You cannot stay down and spiral. And with such a setback like yours, it does feel like the more you wallow, the more you really are going to put yourself in a position you might not recover from. And I
Right.
love how you said that you've recovered and now you've found yourself, and it's not really about what people tell you. And how I love how you still connect people to the charity that you used to have with the reconstructive surgeries, because what that tells me, what that came into mind for me was there is still good in the world, right? But more
Mm-hmm.
importantly, there is good in all of us as
Mm-hmm.
well. And it's a matter of just finding that. It's a matter of manifesting that. That is what I'm getting from you, Louise. So I really wanted I really want to emphasize on that a little bit. And you mentioned this many times throughout that, um, throughout your books, and reading through everything that you've done. You emphasize the power of visualization. You mentioned the tools. You mentioned the law of attractions. Um, you mentioned that these techniques played a role in your own life. And now that you've gone on to teach these techniques, teach these tools, how
Mm.
have you seen these changes in other people seeking to
Ugh.
implement them? What would be that one advice? Like, we saw someone right now down in the dumps, rock bottom, just got kicked out. What would be that one life advice, that one tool that you would teach them right away in order to overcome that?
Well, first of all, with anything that is
Mhm.
happening in our life, big or small, we have
Mhm.
a
Right.
choice to move through it,
Yeah.
or a choice to stay stuck. And
Yes.
it's from staying stuck that nothing is possible. It's that old saying, isn't it, that life begins outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
And you are going to be exposed to things in life that you never thought you'd be
Never
exposed to,
expected.
or you never thought that you would experience, or maybe that you never think that you can get through, or,
Precisely.
but we all have within us the
Mm-hmm.
ability to get through absolutely anything. We're
Uh-huh.
incredibly powerful beings, and we can create magic. And
Wow.
I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. It's really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say to somebody going through something is, first of all, what other people say to you is their opinion,
Yes. Yes.
their truth, and maybe what they feel about themselves. It is
Right.
not necessarily your truth.
Uh-huh.
If it's unkind, is what I'm saying, or if it's something that doesn't serve your higher purpose, then it's
Uh-huh.
not really information that you want to take on.
Yes.
It's about getting really gentle on yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that whatever is happening in your
Mm-hmm.
life right now, there is a reason, and there is an
Right.
opportunity there. There is an opportunity for you to say, okay, so this is happening. What could this be? What reason could this be happening for? Like, what
Precisely.
is this asking me to do?
Uh-huh.
This is asking me. So let's say somebody's rushing, and
Okay.
they're always going really fast, and they can't figure out this and they can't figure out that. And then suddenly they break their leg, and they're like, oh my God, now I have
Oh
to stay
no.
home. I have to be still. I can't move.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, maybe that's what's meant to be happening. You're meant to be still. And it was
Exactly.
like the universe had to go, I have to do this really, really hard because you're not listening. You're not slowing down. So now there you go, break your leg. So you have to sit still. And then,
Mm-hmm.
that person could be going mental with, oh, I can't believe I've got to, I can't do this. And then when you stop and you
Uh-huh.
surrender and you accept,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the healing, and that's where the recovery is. It's when we fight something, we go into denial or anger or
Yes.
no.
Uh-huh.
And then with anything, with a breakup, with moving to another city, another
Mm-hmm.
state, with a terminal illness, with the loss of a loved one, with anything, loss of a job,
Mm-hmm.
anything, it's about surrender, acceptance, and then everything just kind of opens up, and trusting that there is a reason that this is happening. And if you choose to do that work, then it doesn't need to happen again. But
Wow.
if we choose not to do that work, then it's going to keep repeating and repeating
Precisely. Precisely.
until we say, oh, okay, this keeps repeating because I didn't learn the lesson the first time, or I didn't face it the
Exactly.
first. So
Uh-huh.
why not just, and just be gentle on yourself. If, a lot of clients will call me and say, oh, I really screwed up because my day was going great. And then da da da. And so now it's like, whatever. I go,
Uh-huh.
well, restart your day then. What do you
Right.
mean restart my day? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So restart your day. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
not?
Why
You can
not?
be the boss of your hours,
Exactly.
wherever you are. It's about what is going to make you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's your priority. What makes you comfortable? If something makes
Precisely.
you uncomfortable, or if someone is making you uncomfortable, then that's not your truth, and that's not for
Precisely.
you.
Precisely. Louise, I love how you said that you need to do the work. You need to do the work, or it might repeat itself, because we all fall victim to that so much. And not everyone has the tools to quite to kind of overcome that. Not even everyone, I feel like, has the tools to be self-aware that they're actually repeating a lot of patterns. But I love how you keep reminding us to be gentle, be okay, be kind to yourself. It's okay to, have a bad day, and then you just move on, which
Mm,
is really a testament to, like, whatever setback it is, big or small, you still
mm,
seem to do the same amount of work, which is be gentle with yourself, just
mm.
like remind yourself every day that there is a purpose, there is a rhyme and reason to all of this. I just love how you sharing that, Louise. Um i, I want to move forward a little bit when it comes to your current endeavor right now. You do a lot of public speaking engagements, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I have no doubt that it has inspired a lot of life. Could you share a particularly impactful moment that you I kind of asked this previously, right? Like a particular moment or a particular client or a person that you help that y- that you experience, which highlights the influence of or the power of what you teach. What is one person, one event that stands out to you that really reminds you? I love stories. Our audience loves stories. So tell us about that one particular moment where you felt like, wow, this is the meaning of my work, this is the meaning of what I went through, and this is it.
Well, one that really, so there's two that I can share. One is an
Yes,
extreme
please.
of somebody who was really physically injured. Um,
Okay.
I was doing a lot of shows at the time, and when I would come off the show, I would get all these emails from people because I would give that information, and I
Mhm.
made sure that I would always, respond to everybody.
Uh-huh.
And this one woman wrote to me and said that her daughter had been through something horrific.
Okay.
She had been attacked by a boyfriend who had, I mean, I won't go into the details, it's
Oh no.
horrific. And he tied her to a chair outside their house and
Oh
did
no.
some horrible things with a knife. And her mother said that her daughter didn't want to live anymore, that she couldn't get out of this depression, that she didn't feel like she belonged in the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
She had terrible fear, understandably. And she'd been seeing a therapist and nothing was helping. And so I said, okay, well, let me speak to her. So I spoke to
okay.
her and I gave her permission to feel what she's feeling, that that's okay. It's okay. And I validate how you're feeling. And we talked for a while, and I gave her an assignment. And then her mother called me back a week later and said she's too scared of doing the assignment. I went, that's okay. Then she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to do it. It was just, a suggestion. And so then I think the fact that I told her that she didn't have to do it gave her permission, that I wasn't telling her that, oh, you're not good enough for not doing it. But I was like, that's okay.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
and so that kind of gave her this space of, oh, wow, I don't need to be hard on myself. I
Uh-huh.
can take one baby step at a time. And so I worked with her on that. And then I get a call from her therapist saying, I don't know what you did, but she's now, after a few years, better than she's ever been. And she wants
Uh-huh.
to, you know, go forward in her life again. So that was really rewarding, because had I not gone through my own experience, then I wouldn't have been
Uh-huh.
able to help somebody else who was going through theirs. So
Oh
that
my
was
goodness.
really, really big. There's, I mean, there's lots like that with people with their careers,
Mm-hmm.
changing their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So it's really, really, that must have really felt meaningful, because the way you shared that story, I feel like these dark, deep, rock bottom stories are very common that you've encountered. And it's just that there's just this sense of kind of like serendipity, like a sense of like, wow, it's a good thing that you found purpose, because now you finally found meaning in your pain, because you get to
Right.
help all these people. Because
Right.
who otherwise, who would help them? Who would be able to understand the darkness that they are going through?
Through
Um,
the experience, yeah. And then
Precisely.
another example of
Please,
somebody
please.
who hasn't been through anything disfiguring or
Uh-huh.
traumatic like that. This is
Uh-huh.
an example of how we can be um, we can be basically told by other people what we should be doing in our lives.
Uh-huh.
And so I had this 18-year-old girl was coming to me because her mother said, she's in accounting college and I want her to stay in accounting college because that's
Uh-huh.
what she should be doing and that's what she's really good at, but she seems
Yes.
miserable. And I said, okay. And she goes, so I'm going to send her to you and I want you to keep her, make sure she stays in accounting college. And I was like, okay. So I met with this beautiful young girl, lady,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we talked and I was like, wow, she's really miserable. And
Oh
I
my.
figured out she hates what she was, at college for, hates it. And it was basically pulling her down in every other area of her life and affecting
Uh-huh.
who she was because she wasn't being honest and true to herself.
Right.
And so we did a vision board and I looked at the vision because I thought, well, that will give me an idea of what she, her interests are. So we do this vision
Uh-huh.
board and everything was fashion. And I just looked at her and I was like, you want to
Oh.
be in fashion? And she's like, yeah, but I'm not a fashion designer. And I got to sit
Uh,
with her and go, there are so many other careers with
yes.
fashion.
Yes.
And so then we made some calls. I called the Fashion Institute
Uh-huh.
and they told me what she needed to get in. And we worked on some projects and she got in and she went
Wow.
there for 4 years. And she's now, an amazing woman in out in the world, in the public eye, doing what she loves doing. And that was really rewarding because, you know, I know her mother had said otherwise, but now her mother sees what a gift that was for her daughter to really recognize and take what she loves and embark on her life's path and purpose
Yes.
doing what she
Precisely.
loves. Yeah.
That is a really lovely story, and that really always reminds me and always brings me back to like, there is good in the world, and there's good in, like, in you. This is what you're sharing to people. You are helping them find what their life's purpose is, and I think that's just priceless. These must have been very rewarding and meaningful experiences that you've encountered in the lives of others. And I cannot say enough how lucky I am, how grateful I am to have met you and have to have connected with you and heard all your stories like this. um Louis, we're nearing the end. We're nearing the wrapping up of this. I would like to give you the opportunity to tell us about any future projects that you are working on, whether in your diverse role as an author, a speaker, a coach, whichever. What is the future? What does the future look like for Louis? And where can we find you? And anything else you would like the audience to know.
My future is whatever I show up for today will help me create my future for tomorrow. Um, and, I've learned that if I push um, fighting for what I want in a way that's like not my higher powers will, but
Right.
I can feel like I'm forcing something that's just not working, it's just not fitting,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe I just need to just let go and see what is revealed to me to do next.
Right.
I can be found at louiseashby.com.
All
If
right.
anybody is interested in coaching and wants to see if it's something that fits with them, I'm happy to do a complimentary introductory session to see,
Wow. Okay.
where I think you would benefit, what tools, what resources, and if working with me would be a good idea, or maybe if, joining a mastermind with me or something like that. And yeah, I just believe that anything is possible for every single one of us, every single one of us. I believe that once we rid ourselves of the stories other people have put on us or attached to us with their fears or their expectations, once we remove those, then we can actually hear our own voice and hear our truth and what we are supposed to be doing for us, and to allow yourself to do that and not feel shame for it, and just know if you are guided in one direction, then that's for a reason, you know. So maybe you need to visit that direction, take that risk.
That is so lovely. Everything you've said today in this show, in this episode, in this whole session is very lovely, Louise. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your life, who you are, your essence, your purpose. Thank you for sharing all of that to the audience. And for the audience out there, you heard it. Find her at louiseashby.com. And um yeah, give her a call. This is something that resonates with you. And Louis, I really would like to end it the way you just said it just now, is that my future is what I show up for today. And thank you for showing up today. You have inspired me in this short time that we have talked, and I would definitely love to keep in touch.
I'd love that. Yeah, I'd love that. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Louise, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.